to change my fate against the odds. I asked my sister to help me forge a fake diploma from a top university. My plan was to use it to sneak into a wealthy family as a private tutor. Unexpectedly, the lady of the house asked me to do a trial lesson. I agreed without hesitation. In the middle of the lesson, I suddenly grabbed the girl's wrist and calmly said that college entrance exams aren't just about knowledge. They're about mindset. I said her pulse was chaotic and asked how she could handle exam pressure like that. This slightly mystical explanation instantly won the girl over. The mother was also very satisfied, amazed that tutoring could also stabilize her daughter's emotions. On the spot, she pulled out a thick stack of cash and hired me as her daughter's personal tutor. She had no idea this decision would change everything because she liked me so much. The woman began talking about her younger son's education. She said the boy loved drawing, but had a terrible temper and had already driven away more than 10 art teachers. Hearing her complain, a plan immediately formed in my mind. I casually mentioned that I knew a friend who had just returned from abroad, a top graduate from an art academy, especially good at uncovering children's artistic talent. The woman quickly asked me to contact him. She never imagined that this so-called elite artist was actually my sister, who spent all day at home playing video games. On the interview day, my sister wore a suit to look the part. The moment she walked in, she firmly stated that she didn't like parents. Sitting in on her classes, the woman couldn't object and had no choice but to wait anxiously in the living room. Just 3 minutes later, the scene before her left her completely stunned. Her usually mischievous son was sitting quietly, listening attentively. When class ended, he even bowed politely to the teacher. The woman was utterly speechless. My sister then asked her calmly whether her son had experienced a shock. When he was 6 years old, the woman was shaken to the core. That year, her son had indeed claimed he saw a ghost. They hadn't taken it seriously at the time, but from that day on, the child developed a deep psychological shadow. They had never told anyone about this. So how did my sister know? In truth, my sister had no special powers at all. Everything came from psychological techniques she learned online. Through interacting with the boy, she deduced his mental trauma. After that whole routine, the woman was completely won over. She even let my sister set her own salary. Meanwhile, on the other hand, I had already wrapped the rich girl tightly around my finger. Jealous, she asked whether the art teacher was my girlfriend. I laughed the moment I heard that. A few cheap, sweet words were enough to make her fall completely. At the same time, my sister was getting ready to leave after class. The man of the house happened to come home from work. I thought he would see through everything. Instead, he simply greeted her politely and told the driver to take her home. Afraid of exposing her identity, my sister made up an excuse and asked to be dropped off at the subway station ahead. That's when she noticed how easy the driver's job actually was. She immediately thought of our father, who had over 30 years of driving experience and was more than qualified for the position. Taking advantage of the driver's inattention, she quickly took off her underwear and stuffed it into the gap between the car seats.